Hello, welcome to my episode. Oh gosh, that was a confident start, wasn't it? Today we're going to be continuing work on the surplus megacorp factory, and my big plan for today is to get all of the surrounding area worked out. You see, this thing, it looks great, it looks cool. Obviously, there's still some more building work to do, but the area around it, I mean, look at this. There's a flower garden. There's trees. More flowers. There's a Christmas present. That's not part of the landscape. How's this come about? What on earth is this? Well, that's actually really useful. I've been running low on redstone. Oh, nice. Thank you, Jevin. You may have tried to send me to jail in the previous Hermitcraft episode, but I do like redstone supplies, so let's let bygones be bygones. And that reminds me, I do actually want to talk about the court case a little bit, but before we do that, resource gathering. So the main goal of the landscape around the factory is to make it look kind of like a wasteland. Now, I do not want a toxic waste situation like we have going on over at the Mind Laboratory. That's a whole different thing, but I do want it to look like nothing could live. I want it to look like every single piece of nature has been trampled out of existence around this thing. So that involves a whole bunch of the packed mud stuff, which I think I've said about 1,000 times now, but I genuinely think this is one of the coolest additions to Minecraft in recent years. Just the ability to have a slightly different dirt texture is absolutely fantastic. So we're going to have a bunch of packed mud, a bunch of the packed mud bricks in areas that we want to add extra texture, and then while I was flying past Green Space, in fact, is when I was harvesting all of the wheat for the packed mud, which, by the way, you need so much, I noticed that Green and the other people around in that area use brown concrete inside their paths with the packed mud, so I thought I'd pick up some of that stuff, and then also, of course, coarse dirt. Now, I don't have a helmet, and I don't have the thing that allows you to stay underwater for a long time, the conduit thing. So I tried to do a little bit of ocean graveling and got about 3 blocks, and then concluded I was just going to spend 20 diamonds on a full shulker box. So, the resources have been gathered. We've got 2 shulker boxes of packed mud, a bunch of brown concrete, the coarse dirt, and then a box of gravel, so we should be able to get another 2 boxes of coarse dirt. So this should be more than enough for us to get started. Now, how big of an area do I want to go? I mean, it probably like out to here, round the back, and then obviously all of the area up to probably, yeah, about there. I just have to fly over here. I have to fly over here and just see something, because Ren, right, I don't understand. How does he have this much? Packed mud is a huge pain to gather lots of. The dude has made like an entire biome's worth. Yeah, I've got a newfound respect for this project. Well, this is ridiculously cool, isn't it? This is really, really cool. This is super creative. This armadillo has dropped a scoot. Ren's scoot is bigger than my scoot. So I guess I should get the ball rolling by clearing out the area immediately around the factory. I think for a lot of the space, I'm just going to cover the existing landscape. It makes no sense for me to clear it out and then replace the blocks. But for this area, I kind of had this level in mind, so it makes sense that we clear it. As I've been doing this, I've been thinking about how I should set up the kind of color gradients and things, because, yeah, I guess there probably should be something to do with colors here. My gut is effectively telling me that around things, like around builds and around points of interest, I feel like the dirt and things would be a little bit darker, and then it would transition into the packed mud. Right? Does that make sense? Or should it just be random? No, I don't think it should be. I think this is good. I think this is right. Yeah, this is what I want. I am beginning to realize that this is actually going to be a bit of an epic project. Like this is going to be a lot of blocks, and there's a lot of thought that actually needs to go into what I need to do. Oh yeah, it already looks so good though. That already looks so much better. And I think the thought is very much worth it. That sells them existing and looking heavy so well. Oh, and out the front here, there's going to be a bunch of builds and things, so I guess I need to leave an empty space for those. That's another block that's actually fantastic. I remember when coarse dirt was added, and I remember the confusion from a ton of people. They were introduced in 2013. Coarse dirt's been in the game for 11... No. I'm bamboozled by that. Anyway, the area directly next to the factory is all completed, and it is looking really, really cool. I decided to keep it all in the darker textures, and it is subtle. Like, it's really, really subtle, but it looks good. Right, I am now in the packed mud areas here, and I think what I'm going to do is, for the most part, it's going to be all different types of packed mud, but when the landscape is transitioning, I think that's when I'll add the bricks. Does that make sense? I can't really put my fingers on why this looks right, but it looks right. We are gradually creeping our way down the landscape now, and I am being forced to think about what happens here. Like, what do we do when this meets the water? This feels too dry. This does not feel like a block that could be touching water. Of course, we could go back to the coarse dirt and the mud, but I feel... Mud. Oh, yeah. Steal ideas from Scar. What's he done? Yes, I'm liking that. I am liking this idea. We're going to do it slightly differently. I think it will be like mud and then a little bit of the soul soil and soul sand, and that will transition us into our packed dirt. Oh, I didn't actually bring back any regular mud with me. Ooh, did I collect some for the gradient of this build? I feel like I did. But I didn't. Granite and terracotta, though, they're also good blocks, potentially, for things like this. As the build gets more vertical, maybe we should get a few other colors involved. Yes, the Boulder Bros have a bunch of the stuff. Which reminds me, I actually still have a bunch of interiors to do. That is another project for another day. I probably should have brought a more durable shovel. Okay, I have everything that I need, and I've just put a little mud border around this area here, so now we can start working out how this is going to look. And I personally think this little gradient here is probably what we should aim for. Oh no, there's another hermit online. I would say this is a bit of a harsh transition, and I don't think this brown concrete is actually helping. I do think it's probably all right. I can't really think of a good middle ground between these two. I think they line up texture-wise quite nicely. I guess I'm also making the mistake of looking at it up close, whereas from afar, yeah, they actually transition really nicely. It almost makes you wonder if we should add some soul sand and things around the base of the factory. Progress is coming along well. This is looking really good. And now I'm kind of in like a hybrid space where I'll do a little bit of this, and then a little bit of that, then a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And now our shoreline is mostly complete. And yeah, I am definitely going to run along and just quickly chuck in a bunch of soul sand down the back here. I think it will fit in nicely with the build. I also think just like tiny little touches of soul sand around these might be a really nice touch to add in. Yes. Yeah, okay, that ties it in really nicely with this front area here. Oh, I do think I should do something to break up this mud a little bit. Maybe just deep slate? Like, just straight up deep slate could be the thing. Ooh, potentially deep slate tiles. Yeah, they are close enough in color. And I actually think it being darker is the key here. I really don't want to do very much, but I just think the occasional one here and there, just to break it up a little bit, will be good. Let's have a look. Yeah, that has ended up working really nicely. Okay, I feel like I've got a good feel for this now. I feel like I kind of know what I'm doing, and I feel like there's no extra information that I can share about the ideas process of this build. So it's time for me to sit back, relax my mouth a little bit, and do a time lapse. That was a bit of a strange thing for me to say, wasn't it? Anyway, now that I've got a framework worked out, I've got my ideas sorted, I kind of know what I'm doing, everything is plain sailing. Everything went incredibly smoothly, the progress was fast, and I really enjoyed myself. It was a lot of fun laying out all of these blocks here. I think this is one of my first times doing like more of a wasteland type aesthetic for my terraforming, and it looks really cool. Obviously heavily inspired by both the work of Scar and also Ren. I think it's like a combination of them. It's ended up looking great and really fits in with the Mega Corp vibe. And whenever I do building projects like this, I can't help but think about my block selection and how I would have built it years ago when we didn't have this stuff. Because a lot of the blocks that I'm using in my Minecraft builds are blocks that have been introduced in the past couple of years. I think Mojang have been doing a really great job of creating slightly more cohesive, varied color palettes. I guess now that the game is getting older and just the number of blocks is so much larger, we're getting so much more micro variations in shades and tones. And I think that has just unlocked a new kind of mindset for me in building that wouldn't have been possible sort of like 5 or 6 years ago. Long story short, I'm having a lot of fun. The build is looking awesome. It's made it look so much bigger now. I'm really curious to see how it looks from our little town area here. Yeah, you can't really see what I've done, but it does look cool. Nice. I am really, really happy with this. And you know what else I'm happy with? My punishment from BOO. The previous Hermitcraft episode was the Tall Claims Court episode, and as you can probably tell, is probably some of the most fun I've had editing a Hermitcraft video ever. I went into Flashback, which is effectively like a replay mod, and exported 7 or 8 different angles of the courtroom. Each one of these exports took about an hour and a half. The first few I did while I was working on other things, but then on the morning of when I was editing it, I decided I needed a few extra different angles. So I exported those, and that meant that I had sort of like 4.5 hours to kill. And that's when I came up with the idea of adding the little text down at the bottom, and yeah, I had too much fun with it, and it seems like you guys really enjoyed it as well. But what do I mean about liking the punishment from B-dubs? Well, firstly, I like the fact that my store can stay and I get to keep the sounds. That's very nice. But also, I can't help but think that BOO thought about the time of year when he dished out my punishment. He gave me 2 weeks of being a butler on the Hermitcraft server. The court case was on the 17th of December. Now, just like most other workplaces, the Hermitcraft server is pretty quiet during the 2 weeks of the Christmas season. Lots of people are just off seeing their families. They're taking this time off. A few people said that B-dubs' punishment was harsh, but I knew as soon as he gave it, there's not even going to be anyone around to make me their butler. It's like if a teacher gave you a punishment to spend the next 2 weeks cleaning the classroom on the last day of term. It doesn't matter. The real loser of the court case is, of course, Doc M77. However, I do feel this is a little bit cheeky, so if anyone asks me to be their butler over the next couple of days, of course I will oblige. And Pearl and Zombie Cleo have just logged in, so I'm going to log off and design myself some shipping containers. Ooh, how does that look? I'm kind of on board with it, you know. I actually think that's quite cool. You know how obviously shipping containers and things, they tend to have big logos on the side of them? I thought I would try and do that with the Surplus Megacorp. Obviously, it's a big old word, so I thought I'd just stick with S+. We do have the logos that I created in Adobe Illustrator, but they're a little bit too square for something on the side of a shipping container, as you can see from this test that I've done here. The only thing that I wasn't certain of is, of course, the fact that these blocks are kind of inset and there's obviously a gap there. But as I was flying in, like from a distance, it just looks like it's a drop shadow. Like it looks like there's shading on the text. So that's actually like a nice bonus. Yeah, look at that. It's like a half block drop shadow. I've accidentally done something quite cool here. Now, one thing I want to make sure of is that these things can actually stack on top of one another, which means we need to have full blocks on the top. I think that looks all right. I would say that definitely looks better. And now that we have the front section on as well, I would say this looks like a pretty convincing shipping container. I've tried my best to include all of the metalwork and things that goes on the front, like the locking mechanisms. I've also tried my best to sort of imitate hinges of a door. It's not perfect, but I think it's something. Yeah, I really, really like this. So out of curiosity, I mean, what colors do we have available to us? Okay, we've got orange, maybe pink. We kind of have yellow with the bamboo, and then of course we've got the copper. Oh, and we also have purple. Purple could look quite cool, you know. Screenshots have been taken. Let's pop back onto the Hermitcraft server. And then I stood for around about 25 minutes trying to work out where I was going to put them, and instead decided to make a copy in Litematica. That way I can sort of template where I want these things to go. And this is kind of what I envisioned, right? We've got 3 kind of sets of shipping containers, 2 solo ones, and then 1 double stacked. And I think this kind of trails off the build nicely. It makes it fit in with the landscape. It feels like the proportions are correct here. Color-wise, I think this one should be red. I do think this one should be like a coppery one. Maybe we have another red one, then an orange one? Red, orange, purple, yellow? All right, let's just get started with the red one. I know for a fact that I got a bunch of mangrove ready for this build. Did I use all of it? There is like a high chance that I used all of it now that I think about it, because we have got massive areas of mangrove in this thing. No, I did not. This should just about be enough to do our construction. I do need some of that new white wood though, and yeah, I don't know where one of those garden places is, so I might potentially play around with doing the S Plus logo in diorite, or maybe even quartz. So this is how big our first shipping container is going to be. Now I just need to lay out all of the block. I need to make sure that I remember to do my little cutout, and I honestly can't remember how the cutout goes for the plus, but I imagine it's probably something a little bit like that. Okay, solid start. Obviously, the real key here is all of the trapdoors actually giving that slight texture to the build. And I'm actually incredibly thankful to the surplus logo, because it has greatly reduced the number of trapdoors I need for this thing, because trapdoors are so ridiculously expensive. This is one stack of wood here. A full stack of planks gets you 20 trapdoors. It's nothing. They are 1/8 of a plank. 1/8. Like, how have I used over 3 cubic meters of wood to create this? It's mostly air in the middle anyway. I'm going to have words with Willie Jr. Oh, no. Am I about to be requested to be a butler? Oh. No. You know, it's a good thing that these shipping containers don't actually need to contain any items. It's not the most practical use of space. Okay, I've got the main outline of our first shipping container done. Oh, no. Oh, I don't have many brain cells at all. Gosh, kind of forgot the way that words work. Kind of did the logo mirrored, and I'm kind of slightly embarrassed of this fact. On to the final finishing touches now of our first shipping container. We've got our little hinges in, and this little thing is now all done. Okay, that looks great. Obviously minus the logo. I think it fits quite well scale-wise. I like the colors. I think our next one should be cyany, but I actually don't know if it should be copper. I almost think it should be more warped. Actually, no. No, yellow. I think it should be bamboo-y. So we're going to have the yellow one out here, and then we can get warped and then orange, because those two will look really good together. And if I feel like we need another shipping container, we could kind of put one in here. But I'm almost thinking that instead of that, we have like overflowing pallets of things like bamboo and sugarcane and things. Is there any difference at all between stripped bamboo and bamboo planks? Because it doesn't look like it to my eye. This feels like a good time to mention the 2 big holes in Minecraft block palettes. Yellow is pretty underrepresented, and also primary blue. We have a whole ton of teals, but not that many primary blues. Okay, this looks like a pretty good gradient for yellow. Things are going well. We have got all of the blocks in for our second shipping container. It is amazing how much of a difference these chains make, by the way. Such a simple little addition, but it makes all the difference to the build. I'm extremely curious to see what this shipping container looks like. It looks cool. I think I actually prefer it to the red one. Nice. Really, really happy with this. And I am starting to think, with how planky these builds are, maybe quartz would be better for the text. This is not me being lazy and trying to get out of going to the Pale Garden, okay? It's not that. It's just there's a lot of textures going on with these builds, and if maybe the clean lettering would be better. Next up, the warped container. Why did I have to choose such an annoying color palette? Oh, I've only got 12 rockets to get home from here. This could be bad. So I've done our storage container, and as you can see, I mainly opted for copper on this one, but I don't think gathering our warped stems is going to be in vain. The reason that I switched to copper is because I didn't want this to have a dark top, because it was going to go from dark to light and then back to dark again. But I've just remembered this is going to be part of a stack. There's going to be another storage container on top, so it makes sense that the roof of this thing would actually be in shade, and this gradient would still make sense. So I'm going to keep the gradient on the side the same, but I'm going to swap out all of our copper trapdoors for the warped ones, and then up at the top, the stairs and the slabs up there are all going to be warped planks. Okay, I'll admit this definitely looks worse at this point in time, but I think with the other container on top, it will make sense, I hope. So let's get that constructed, and our shipping containers are now all in place. And I gotta say, in the context of this build here, they look great. There is, of course, just one final detail missing, and that is the S Plus logo. Gosh, I don't really have much in the way of quartz either. I'm gonna have to head into the town, or not. I actually seem to have quite a decent quantity, or at least this should be enough to make all the slabs and things. I don't know why, but I feel incredibly excited about this. Okay. All right. Yeah, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. It also uses a surprisingly large number of slabs. My goodness, I think we might potentially run out here. So the S is what? That's 11? 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 18 per S plus. Yeah, I definitely don't have enough. But my goodness, does this look outrageously cool, though. This should be the final quartz slab. It is in. These last trapdoors and our shipping containers are now all complete. They have both sides. I think this is definitely the angle they look best from because obviously you get the full factory in the foreground. But I gotta say, these have worked out really, really nicely. So for the rest of this area, as I say, pallets and potentially vehicles, maybe cranes. But for the time being, I have a request to make. A surprisingly large number of people are currently online. So, yeah, I guess I should probably ask. And if nobody says yes, then I guess I'm off of butler duty. Tomorrow's the last day. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, that's hilarious. For a minute there, I thought he was going to ask me to build layer 2 of his pyramid. So it's time for me to give Skizzleman a bit of a pep talk, increase his confidence, and hopefully it comes off well.
You gotta think how Skizz thinks.
I had Gem on a plus 150%. I came in and it's like a bomb went off in my headphones. I was so confused. It honestly, it like flashbanged me. It's like I was
That is your own fault. Why was I that loud?
I don't know. Oh my goodness.
All right, so here's the deal. I'm feeling, you're going to butler me. You're going to do what a butler does, and you're going to make me feel good about my decision here because I feel terrible. This is the second layer. This is all about shelter, so you can see the ground evolves as it goes across and becomes more sheltery. The carts are going to be filled with skellies trying to smoke you as you just try to get to the other side. So I just feel like this is super stupid, so I need you to lie to me and tell me what a great idea it is, Mumbo.
This is amazing. This is an incredible idea that I'm not sure I fully understand it, but that's fine. Okay, because it's great. I think it's great.
Okay, this is the second layer of Maslow's pyramid. It's all about shelter and security and stuff
like that.
This is
good.
So
this is good. I like it. That's psycho. No, it's not psychological. That is stoic. No, it's what is the other one?
He's lying to you, Skizz.
No, what's
Don't let
the
this
other
go to
one?
your head.
You've got stoicism, and then you have, but then this is
no, see,
it's not historical.
Working.
It's not historical. Well, it is historical.
This is
Maslow's
psychological.
Hierarchy
I think
of
your
need.
first attempt was the correct one.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe it's to do with psychology. Yeah, no, I'm just trying to think.
No, it's definitely to do with psychology.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, and it's really good psychology as well. It's good.
Okay. Okay, good. I'm gonna convince myself that I believed what you just said. I feel a lot better. Thank you, Mumbo.
How are you gonna do that?
I'm trying. This is academic as well. Academic. It's very academic.
It is.
It's high art. You could probably throw some Latin in there, and nobody would even bat an eye because that's how like high caliber brain power this is. Look, so I've lost the ability to speak.
It's not often someone can render Mumbo speechless.
No, it's true.
That's how great you've done.
In fact, the only other time I saw Mumbo speechless was when he was trying to figure out how to describe how much he hated Gems and Joel's car in the Life series.
Maybe this is a bad example, Skizz, because that is not the case in this situation. I want to be very clear. I'm speechless because of how good it is.
No, it seems like that's exactly
No.
Yes, it
Don't
does.
you dare bring
Yes,
up
it does.
such an example of a time.
He hated that car, and he hates this pyramid.
I did.
Whoa!
No, wait, no, that's not.
Don't do it.
Skizz, I think we should kill him.
Jem,
No,
I'm curious.
He's a good butler.
Please don't kill me.
He's a
Please
good
don't kill me.
butler.
I've been great. I've been good. Jem, what do you think of this pyramid? I'm curious. I like it.
Oh, it's the best pyramid I've ever seen in Minecraft.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were just going to say in general, because I was like, this.
I made a pyramid in Minecraft.
Yeah. Cubs also made a pyramid in Minecraft.
Did I
Oh, you're
see
right.
it?
His is better.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one. I wasn't on the server.
Were you
my
not?
problem.
Wait, you weren't on the server when Cub built his pyramid?
That was
What season
me
was
and
that?
Cup. We built pyramids same season, I think. That was season 7.
Yeah, so no gem in season 7.
Yeah, no gem.
What?
Yeah,
season
didn't he
7.
build?
Wait,
didn't
you've
Cub
only
build-
been on the server since season 8?
Yes, Mumbo.
What?
Yeah.
No, so wait, so today I found out that coarse dirt was introduced in 2013 and I almost passed away. And now
Wow.
and now I realise that you've been on the server since season 8.
I'm curious to know what you think I did in season 7.
That is a good question.
Honestly, had several comments of people that are learning about Maslow's pyramid and they're literally telling me the videos are helping lock in what the different layers are.
Perfect.
And what they mean.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
What are the different layers? I only know like the last one.
So the very bottom one is physiological. It's literally water, air, food, stuff like that.
Makes sense.
So that's why down there you're starving, you're freezing the whole time, you're drowning, stuff like that. And then this one, once you have that taken care of, then you start working on shelter and security, which is like housing and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then after that is love and belonging. That's when you look for family and like you actually belong somewhere.
Whoa.
And then after that is esteem, which you start to identify what about you stands out. And then the very top is the pinnacle. About 3% of mankind gets to it. It's called self-actualization. And it's essentially when you are so self-actualized that your entity becomes about serving, right? You become about using who you are just to sort of make your mark on the world.
Oh, that's
that's
crazy.
why.
Very cerebral place, isn't it?
That's the word! Thank you!
Cerebral!
Oh, God!
Let's go!
Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry, I completely couldn't react to your point. You just explained Maslow's hierarchy of need, and then Impulse says cerebral, and I'm like, yes, Impulse! Oh, my goodness.
That's the word!
Oh, man. Oh, I'm self-actualized. You've self-actualized me, Impulse. I reached the peak in that moment.
The pinnacle.
So that has been incredibly successful. The area around Surplus Megacorp has been fully terraformed. We've got ourselves a bunch of cool-looking shipping containers, and I have completed my official butler duty, and I am now a free man. This has been a really fun episode of Hermitcraft to work on, and I think in the next Hermitcraft episode, hopefully, we might get this thing fully finished. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you!